Adjudicator 1.
Hello and welcome to the first heat of Series 1 of Dupe, the mysterious movie pitching podcast with a twist. Today's episode will be slightly different as we'll be pitting the winning ideas from 6 of our previous episodes against each other in a showdown to find out which one idea goes straight into the finals that will take place at the end of the season. Ryan and Dan are with me, and they've been trying to explain to me how heats and semi-finals work because I know nothing about sports. And we've been debating this. Is it a semi-final? Is it a heat? So to help us crown a winner, our adjudicator for this heat is Ben Scriven. Ben, you're our first ever adjudicator in Dupe. How do you feel about setting the bar for us going forwards?
Hi guys, I'm super excited. I'm really excited. This is going to be fun. You guys over the series, you guys have knocked out some killer intellectual property that everybody is ready to steal. So
thanks, Ben.
Yeah,
and every time I was robbed. So
and Ben,
it's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, you're a filmmaker, TV editor, and computer game designer. Will any of that factor into your decision making today?
Absolutely. I think that everything at the moment has to be cross-platform. That's why you look at the end of any movie, you get a big... And that's because, you need to have stuff to translate over to the computer game. I mean, obviously, it doesn't go for your David Lynch's, your Mike Lee kitchen sink, press A to have a row with your wife. But it's obviously not applicable.
Have you played any David Cage?
No.
Is that what you do? Press A to breathe? Yeah.
No, you see, this is where my experience limits me. But no, I think it's. I just love creativity, man. Sound design, filmmaking, is my thing.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can weigh in on some of those aspects today and maybe sort of help us whittle down these 6 ideas. Do you know, it's funny because I convinced my fiance to watch all of the DC Universe movies as a punishment, I think. That's perhaps what she regarded it as. But it was both the Justice League and the Batman v Superman. And I was thinking, I saw my controller on the table and I thought, well, if I just pick that up, it's no different to some of the games I play. It feels that the whole language of the film is very entrenched in video games and they sort of borrow from each other. Yeah.
And also conversely, now you've got a lot of computer games studios looking to cherry pick people out of the film industry. Because all of these games, they all need to be lit. They all need to have voice acting and stuff like that. So it's the two industries, man, are really going to cross pollinate.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you think about, there's been huge buzzing in the press about the Last of Us TV show. You've got the fact that Druckmann's actually going to be part of it, and you've got the guys who did Chernobyl in there as well. So yeah, you're right. There's actually a long time ago there was a lot of films that then, hey, let's turn this into a video game, and now we're sort of actually seeing the inverse of that. But let's hope that it's nothing like Uwe Boll takes our love of video games and turns them into trash films.
House of the Dead.
House of the Dead. Oh god,
man, I've got something to say about that. House of the Dead. Good Lord, let's leave that in the past. But you see, that's for a long time, that's been the presumption of a movie that's come from a video game. And I saw this wicked thing online, and he recommended Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, and I'm going to re-recommend Sonic the Hedgehog the movie because it's a wonderful thing. I would genuinely put it up the top of one of my favorite movies at the moment, not only because the boys love it, but because the main character that starts off as a borderline schizophrenic, depressive loner, and throughout that you see this character grow, and at the end I have my tear jerk moments. Thank you very much. At the end, I can say about tear jerk moments, but I had mine at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog the movie.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, if that's not a recommendation, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
I mean, we've now got. This is to add to the computer game thing. I mean, we've now come into a world where Cats can be released in the cinemas, and then they can patch it afterwards. a week after, they go, oh, some of these graphics are definitely going to make this the worst movie of this year. So let's just change a couple of these graphics. Yeah. It's definitely the graphics that's the problem with this movie. So we're just going to patch a couple of graphics, and then that'll make this the best movie this year. There's absolutely no problem with this movie now that we patched it. So
literally like alpha releases and then instant downloadable content on day one, 1.3 gigs worth of patches.
Yeah. And cinemas everywhere can do it.
So we all drew straws. We'll go Dan first, then Ryan, and then myself. We'll each draw one of the winning films from the hat at random, or the spinner in this case, because we're all having to do this remotely. Then each of us will have 2 minutes to give our elevator pitch to Ben. I think it will mostly be from memory and sort of cobbled together, because I think that some of the magic will be remembering the things that we fell in love with it for in the first place, seeing if we can just sort of recall that stuff. And then Ben will choose one of the 3 to go forwards, and then we'll repeat this until we have 2 finalists.
And Ben, you're allowed to get in on it as if we were at a producer's table.
Yeah. And I'll throw in some killer kind of, hey, producer curveballs.
Yeah, or Vinnie Jones is making a career resurgence. You've got to put him in there somewhere.
Yeah. Let me just.
I mean, I'm all for personal slants. I'm all. This isn't a committee. This is the opinions on what make these films great. These titles, these pictures, these ideas. I think that's what makes Slashdupe great. So feel free to sort of interject at any point. We also hope our community will do the same. So you can bring your arguments to Twitter, to Reddit, to our Facebook group. Watch our Instagram for announcements on upcoming episodes, and we've also just recently put up a Patreon. So check that out, and hopefully you can be a part of the argument as well. Just before we go into the pitches, Dan, why is it called an elevator pitch?
Right, here it is, Wikipedia's version of an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch, elevator speech, or elevator statement is a short description of an idea, product, or company that explains the concept in a way such that any listener can understand it in a short period of time. That's basically it. And the reason it was called an elevator pitch is it reflects the idea that it should be possible to deliver the summary in the time span of an elevator ride, approximately 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Although I don't know what elevator in the world takes 2 minutes.
Maybe the one that goes up the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, or the Wonkavator.
Or the Wonkavator, yeah.
Today's elevator is the Wonkavator.
Also, can I add, I'd really like to hear some films that they are like. Because in elevator pitches of like log lines and things like that, it's generally like Star Wars meets Home and Away. Well, you could.
That would be great. Star Wars meets Home and Away.
I'm glad you asked that, Ben, because as you know, I curate all the lists on each of the episodes. I've also now curated Sean's synopsis of each winning film, which we can read out at the beginning, and then we'll go in with the way that we will pitch in this elevator.
To give some of you, if you're newcomers or if you've been avidly following but you can't remember maybe where each title has fallen in the series so far, we will read out my best recollection that I had at the time before I selected it as the winner. So we'll have that play before each of us gives our 2 minutes to Ben.
Okay, so Dan, if you're ready, I'm going to spin the wheel. You can add some noise in post here, I imagine.
Or you can just loop the noise that Ryan just made over and over.
You have been given episode 1, Bob Disposal, and the winner of that was me.
So Sean's pitch for this recollection was genuinely the one we connected to most out of the episode. When Ryan pitched his initial idea of Bob Disposal, it started on ground we trod lightly on. It was about euthanasia and stuff that's quite heavy, but then it moved to something a little more akin to Little Miss Sunshine, akin to something a little more wholesome and necessary, particularly these days, and it's universal. We all deal with death, and everyone has a different way of dealing with it.
That's quite a good synopsis. They're all downhill from there, because that was the first episode.
That is the longest one, so...
All right,
Wow.
Dan, your 2-minute timer starts.
Take it away, Dan. Give us the.
Can I just ask? Can I just ask, just quickly? Are we like really going full force with this elevator pitch thing? Like, do you want to walk into the office?
I'm going to act it out. Do
you want to maybe knock on my door?
I didn't see that.
It's going to be an elevator with me, but we can all do it in a different way.
So
first one's an elevator.
Okay, so I'll you're in the elevator first, and then I'll maybe kind of get in, and I'll look all like busy and stuff. And
okay.
Yeah, I think we walk into your office at the end with the final two.
Yeah,
final.
Yeah. I'll have to invite you back.
I think you should.
Hey, you know that idea? Yeah, I'm going to steal that. Sorry, no, this is adding time. Let's I'll walk into the elevator.
Oh, hi Ben, good to see you.
Oh, hi. Who are you?
I'm Dan de Cruz. I've worked here for a bit, but I just got if I can I've got a new pitch for a new film. If I can just run past you.
Yep.
I know you're busy. So hear me out. Weekend at Bernie's meets Little Miss Sunshine. Okay. So it's got this. It's about this guy who's about to die, and he's got his will, but it's all of his estate is in Canada. And one of the stipulations in it goes to his sons if he dies in Canada. But he's moved to America. They haven't sorted out the will since then. And so he decides to go on a road trip with his boys to get back to Canada so that all the estate can go across to them. Halfway on the way, he dies. And so now it's like a road trip where they've got to get him to Canada without anyone knowing that he's dead. But and on the way, they move up to drop in on all the family who now they've all got to get them to come to the funeral, but no one in the family can mention that he's dead yet. So it's like loads of crazy characters join in, like a road trip, finding yourself kind of song. And at the very end, the big denouement is they get to the Canadian border and the car breaks down and all the family that have been dysfunctional and hated each other, they all get together and they push the car across the border and then they can get their will. Thanks, Ben. I've got to get out on this one floor, so let me know.
Bing bong. That's okay, Dan. That sounds great.
See you later.
Wow.
Cheers, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, well, I'm up next, so I'm going to spin the wheel. Hot Luck, which was Dan's winner, and the synopsis on that, it's gone from the longest one to the shortest one. Sean's synopsis was sports parody movie in the vein of Balls of Fury and Blades of Glory with Will Ferrell and Jared Hess directing.
Okay.
That's all I've got. So, I think if we...
Can you tell me the title again, please?
It's Pot Luck.
Pot Luck. Okay.
So give us your 2-minute pitch, Ryan.
Oh, hi, Ben. I didn't see you there. Listen, I've only got a couple of minutes. So my name's Ryan. I'm going to talk to you about the next big sports movie. Now, the thing is, this year, we've all been missing our sport because a lot of things have been cancelled, right? But then indoor sports is the next big thing. So what a film I want to pitch to you is called Potluck. And I know a lot of people may think about, drugs with that, but what I'm thinking of is balls, right? That's what I'm thinking of. Potting balls. This is going to be a film with Will Ferrell where he plays a snooker champion that has a rival with another snooker champion, and it's all about their clash of snookering, right? But then it's not just that, they're both the top of the game. Like, one drinks a lot and one doesn't drink a lot, and Will Ferrell's obviously got a really hot girlfriend because he does in all of his films. And the whole idea is that it's like sort of like a mockumentary and an actual film about their rivalry in snooker. They'll be playing, like staring at each other, and and we get a lot of tropes here, like the things that happen with snooker with everyone having to be quiet, like someone dying in the crowd, like his mentor dying in the crowd, but no one can say anything because everyone's got to be quiet. And then I think when we originally talked about it, they just have sex at the end, don't they? On top of the table, on top of the actual snooker table, because their rivalry is that passionate that they just got to release it, like the Spartans used to do. And so it's one of these sports that hasn't been touched by a parody film yet. You know, you think of your Balls of Fury and your Blades of Glory, which, you know, take a look at those sports and then put them in a parody way. But snooker is the untouched goldmine of parody sports films. Thank you very much. I've got to get off at this floor, but I'd love to speak to you again soon. Let's grab lunch, all right? I'll get my people to speak to your people. Okay, cheers, mate. Bye.
Yeah, my people is bing bong. Yeah. Wow. This is like some sort of strange kind of lift psychosis that we've managed to get into here. Wow, that sounded great. That sounded fun. Let's go down to the mailroom and just.
Sean, you have been given. Oh, what a winner! You have been given episode 3. The title of this was "This Train Terminates," and that was by Becky, our winner.
Oh yes, so initially when I was thinking about what connected with me about this idea, I said that This Train Terminates has been a sort of fun, joyous, knowing, gory horror film with a throwback vibe to possession movies, with a whole host of cameos, and of course with the legendary Sean Bean, who, believe it or not, does not die at the end. So there's a spoiler there.
All right, your 2-minute elevator pitch starts now.
Oh, hi, I'm Sean.
Oh, hi, Sean. You smell really funny. What's going on in that room over there? That's really weird.
It's just mail. It's just the smell of mail. Most people.
Oh, it's the mail room.
Of mail. Yes. Yes.
I just need to post this letter. Let me just put that letter in there. Okay, I've got to get back up to the boardroom now.
Hey, you seem like I'm going up anyway. Actually, to the boardroom as well. To collect some mail. You seem like quite a nice chap. I mean, we've got a good rapport going on so far, but I mean, I've got some ideas for films, but you probably don't want to know what they are.
Oh, no, we're always looking for the next Psycho.
Oh, wow. Well, it's funny that you should say that, actually, because I have the next Psycho.
No way. Really?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, Psycho didn't it have like a sort of a dark sense of humour about it? You know, even Hitchcock, he used this classic style to sort of, you know, when he drew you into the plug hole and everything. And I don't know if you've seen Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he had this sort of dark.
I saw the remake. You know, the one that they did in colour. Yeah. I saw the remake. I don't like black and white movies. I'm a film producer.
Yeah. Neither do I. This one will be in colour, by the way. Of course, it's your decision. It's your decision, of course.
Okay.
This Train Terminates is, what if you took the thing that we all know? We've all been on trains. We commute. We ride trains to go to beautiful parts of the country. So if you imagine this old sort of secluded train line in the middle of Cornwall, you take Sean Bean, you add the train, and you go, the train is possessed. Why? Is it because the train yard is on an Indian burial ground? Who knows? Is it because somebody died on the tracks and this train keeps coming back every year and keeps doing its nefarious things? I don't know. Someone else will decide. I'm not a writer. But ultimately, This Train Terminates that's the title, by the way. This Train Terminates is everything that you love about trains and everything that you love about Sean Bean. Listen, I should have got off. I just missed my floor, actually. Sorry about that, mate.
Okay.
Anyway, you go.
Wow. I mean, we're going to the boardroom. That sounds really good. I just saw the poster in my head. So yeah, let's. I'd like to maybe read a one-pager.
Yeah, and I think we've got Edgar Wright on board. So so you know, it's a done deal. Yeah, we've got Edgar Wright on board. It's that sort of tone.
That's fab. Okay, well, I've got to go now because this is our 2-minute ride. So take care and see you around.
See you around. I'll be in the mailroom. And
scene. So you're gonna maybe like put some lift sounds on that, you know, Dan. You're gonna be maybe some rustling papers, maybe some office blips. Yeah, it's all about somewhere sound design.
I wasn't expecting it to go.
Yeah,
I'm really glad it did.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, we've got 3 corkers there, people. Mm-hmm. Can I start with just saying about the whole idea of thrashing out pitches together, and the whole idea of Slash Dupe is I think it's ace. You guys are absolutely smashing out intellectual property, and I joked earlier about everybody stealing it, but it genuinely I don't see much much problem in developing all of these ideas. So let's start at the top, shall we? Bob Disposal, The Road Trip. Dan, that was a solid pitch. And we had some good likenesses in there. I liked it a lot. I'd say there's not the originality. For me, I would need something to be either cool, current, or really creative. And
I'm none of those things.
Well, no, don't tell me. Don't give me that, Dan. It sounds really funny. It sounds like if you get the right talent into the script writing room, it would be really great. And I can see that being a really cheeky little independent movie for the right people. So we'll score that. I'd say we've got to start scoring that at about 5 for me. Let's start in the middle. Out of 10, for me, that would be about a 5. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily good or bad because we've got 2 more to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, moving on to Potluck, Will Ferrell, Snooker. And I would say that reminds me a lot of Big Break with Jim Davidson. I liked it. It sounds like a really cheeky, independent. Not independent. I keep on saying independent, but that's because I'm an independent guy. I really like the kind of independent terminology of cinema. So, what Potluck for me had over Bob Disposal was the premise of Snooker, and it gives me a really visual hook into going, oh, I'm going to see a lot of color. I'm going to see it gives you a natural progressive element to the script, like Happy Gilmore, and also make your pitch.
It was an untapped gold mine.
Untapped gold mine. Thank you, mate. Untapped gold mine. Listen, everybody at home, that is how you finish your movie pitches. It is. By the way, I just hate to tell you this, but this is an untapped goldmine. So, bye. That's how you finish a movie pitch, and that was great. So for me, that was a solid 6 or 7. So it's taken the lead there. This Train Terminates. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard this, because I've been listening to the podcast, so when I heard this was a favourite of mine, and I didn't joke, and I did kind of see the poster of This Train Terminates with Sean Bean. I do have to say, I don't see this film as straight horror at all. I see this as a much more kind of splatterhouse lads movie night of This Train Terminates, and it's akin to the kind of, what was the Tarantino Rodriguez thing that they did?
No, it was the Grindhouse one.
Grindhouse kind of thing. I wouldn't take it that far because I think that's a little bit too nostalgic. I think that style is a little bit limiting for the target audience. Once you've got your people in place and the right people, that train movie, This Train Terminates, could go global because you have This Train Terminates Germany, This Train Terminates UK. This because you've got each train line seems to have a different kind of aesthetic. Yeah, I'm a massive fan of all of these. They all sound great. I'm loath to actually pick a. So for that reason, I'm gonna say first one out is Bob Disposal. I'm afraid to say. Sorry.
I'm okay with that.
Sorry.
It's me.
First one out is Bob Disposal. He's gutted. But that's because I can't see the number 2 after Bob Disposal. Bob Disposal 2. And so moving on to Potluck, you've got the Netflix Will Ferrell thing in the bag. This Train Terminates. I was sold on This Terminates when I heard it the first time round. And so genuinely, this isn't playing it for keeps, people. This isn't playing it for radio. This is genuine
pain.
So I thought that Becky did such a good job with This Train Terminates that I could never eclipse like her pitch for it.
Okay, here we go. Who's going to do a drum roll? You'll put the drum roll on afterwards, Dan.
Put the drum roll on, yeah.
Here we go. It is This Train Terminates.
Yes.
It is This Train Terminates. I'll tell you why. Because potluck, we're going to steal that idea and do that anyway. Okay. What I personally like in films is creative storytelling, right? And This Train Terminates feels like it's got a world that you can build, and it feels like it's got mystery behind it, right? Whereas Potluck for me felt like it's absolutely on the money for a Will Ferrell movie, straight to Netflix, bang, everybody's happy, see you next year. This Train Terminates has the potential to excite me on a visual thing, because hey, who's seen a train like stalk people?
yeah, it's superb, isn't it?
I would like to see a train stalk people. And this is from Becky's pitch, not yours, Sean, I'm afraid, sure. But it was the red eyes. It was the red eyes from the train that I remember.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ben. Obviously, I like all the ideas because they're all the winners I selected. And I even like all of the ideas, every single one of them that I don't select as the winner for those episodes. And I think we can all agree that we like all of the titles. We like them all. And so it's fun. It's fun to deconstruct them. And we're really glad to have you here, Ben, in order to do that from a sort of a different standpoint. So I really appreciate you being here. So you've selected This Train Terminates to go forwards. And it just leads Ryan to spin the wheel, and we'll launch straight into our second set.
Yeah, so second round coming up. Dan, you're going to go first. Dan, you have episode 2, Arrest My Case, which was by Grace
Hardy.
So we've had a Rob Schneider comedy, a product of its time, a think piece warped by studio execs into a sort of crass comedy in the vein of Liar Liar, where Rob Schneider plays a suitcase and is arrested in a crass manner just so the title can be said. But there's some heart buried in there, perhaps in the first draft.
All right, Dan, your 2-minute elevator pitch begins now.
Hi, Ben. Nice to see you again.
Hi, I only saw you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. I've got this. I want to throw another one at you, actually. Arrest My Case. I mean, that should do it enough. Okay. But what I'm going to tell you is Rob Schneider is a suitcase. He's a talking suitcase, and Matthew Lillard is his lawyer. That's where we start. Rosie Perez is Rob Schneider's ex-girlfriend. She's his ex-girlfriend because he's dead. So he's been shot. His spirit possesses a suitcase, and he's been shot by the mafia. And his case is literally going to solve the case of how to take down the mafia. That's it. What more do you need?
Okay. Well, I mean, man, this is my stop. I mean, we're at the canteen. We need to.
I'll leave you with that because you're gonna need a ham and cheese sandwich to mull that one over. Thanks for your time, though.
Arrest My Case. Okay.
Nice.
Rob Schneider. Okay, Arrest My Case. Right, let's rock.
Straight on.
That was an epic pitch, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Yeah, that was a good pitch.
So I'm going to do the spinner for me. Episode 6, which is Songbirds of Jupiter. And that was Johnny who won that one. And the synopsis of that is: a beautiful, pretentious idea that is Inc. meets American Gods, which also has an Odyssey-like feel to it. But more than anything, it has Keanu Reeves' death. Someone needs to save their daughters, these siren figures that represent in their lives their burdens, so that they can unburden themselves. And something that we've never really experienced before, very much in Slash Dupe, which is the idea of rewatchability, where you can where you can film a journey and afterwards you actually continue that journey. You seek the information online with your peers and you find a way to find this unlovable movie together in these little corners of the internet. That was Sean's synopsis. You want to kick me off, Sean?
Yeah. So let's hear your 2-minute pitch for Songbirds of Jupiter.
Okay, yeah, no, listen, I said, yes, sell at 50. Okay, cool. Ben, hey, nice to meet you again. Right, good to see you again in the elevator. Yeah, listen, I've only got another couple of minutes, but I want to come to you with something, there's been a bit of chatter on the wire. Songbirds of Jupiter, right? Crazy title, I know, but it's one that just came out of thin air, one that fits in perfect. And you know what? We need more titles that don't make any sense. So, Songbirds of Jupiter is essentially about this. A man has to go on a journey he's been asked to help an elderly man to help solve the problems of his daughters. He's got 5 daughters, and he has to sort of he agrees. If he agrees to do this, then he'll let the guy who died let his soul go to rest. So basically, Keanu Reeves has to then go and he meets. There was a laundry list of hot women who play the daughters, but he has to basically go and solve their problems in a way, sort of help them. And if he refuses any of them, then he doesn't get his soul back, right? So he has to do everything that they ask, no matter how weird it is, or no matter how nice it is. It can be from like crocheting something to going out dancing to chaining himself to a bed. I think that was one of them. But the idea is he goes through this journey, and actually when he gets to the end, and he finally solves all the problems of the daughters, and he goes to the father and he says, I've solved all of these things. The father is actually like, all of the daughters weren't real. They were the mirage for all of your personal burdens on your life, and now that you've been able to relinquish those, you can sell yourself and you can pass on to the next life. So it's the idea of actually what each of us wants to do. Instead of holding on to the thing that really hurts us, we're able to acknowledge it and we're able to let it go and move on with our lives. That's all I've got for you. I've got another call. Yeah, I said sell at 50. All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, okay.
Ryan, just before you go, Bing, hold the door. Ryan, just before you go, might be time to switch to decaf.
Okay, yeah, okay, thanks, mate. Yeah, thanks. I'll take that. I'll take that board. Okay, so the final of our first 6 that just leaves Sean with episode 5, A Stitch in Time.
Yes, and that by Sam O'Hanlon.
By Sam O'Hanlon.
One of our more recent ones.
Yes.
When I described it, it was very scant. I said it's a Tim Burton or Studio Ghibli type animation. It deals with capitalism, free will, death, and also it deals with time travel. It's fantastically sad, but an uplifting and hopeful yarn. And that was a pun for yarn.
And your 2-minute pitch timer starts now.
Oh, hi, Ben. I haven't seen you since
hi.
I'm a runner now, actually.
Yeah, no, you've been promoted out of the mailroom. That's great.
Yeah,
that's
executive
great.
runner.
Okay, good for you,
executive
Sean.
Runner.
Great.
Yeah. What happened to This Train Terminates? I pitched it to you a while ago.
That went down to our dev team. They're just knocking it about a bit, and they'll be in touch. Okay.
I mean, yeah, definitely. They'll put me on there somewhere in the credits, right? And a special thanks or something.
No, they won't.
Okay. Animated films make money, don't they? They make quite a lot of money.
Yeah, sometimes yes. There's I mean, people like movies and animation. So why wouldn't they like animation?
So we've. So you're an exec, right? Yeah, an exec.
Yes, although I've just spoken to somebody who's had a lot of caffeine, and so I'm slightly off kilter.
Well, I mean, I'm interested in. We all deal with. I don't want to be sad here, but we all deal with death in our lives, and time. Time is something that is always sort of ticking over. And I was talking to a friend of mine who runs an animation studio, very similar to Studio Ghibli, and he was talking about this hand-stitched world. It's maybe like a seaside port town or something sort of very cutesy. But this lady, this young girl protagonist, which is quite in vogue, I have to say. Young girl protagonist finds out that she has 2 opposing sides of her family. Her grandmother, who has just passed away, was a weaver of the fabric of time. And she upset the other side of her family by weaving in the death of her nephew. But because this guy, Mr. Bumblebunch, who runs the factory, he thinks he's really, really disappointed because he thinks that she is in control of this. However, as we all know, the fabric of time, it runs on and does its own thing. So this young girl, listen, I'll travel up with you a couple more floors.
Yeah.
This young girl feels like this young girl needs to pick up her grandmother's tools and learn how to stitch with the fabric of time, and in order to weave a better life for all of the people in this small town. Anyway, listen, give me a shout sometime. You know I'm always on Skype, so.
Yeah. I'm very busy and you're a runner, so I'll see you around.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, if you ever bump into that exec, run a mile, man.
I also want to apologise. I just think I also had. Now everybody pitched their ideas well, right? Everybody did, particularly with Grace as well. But Becky and Sam had the best pitches, I thought, of the six.
So her.
And I have done, and I have butchered them almost intentionally, knowing that there's no way that I could reach the lofty heights of their pitches. So,
well, you forgot to mention it's a musical as well.
Oh yeah, it's a musical.
Oh, sorry, I'm out of the lift now. We're in the course now.
I'm just yelling it into the shaft.
It's a musical. Yeah, down the lift. You've die-harded the way down, and you're like on the top of the lift, and you're.
It's a musical. Ho ho ho. Yeah.
Arrest My Case. Songbirds of Jupiter. Stitch in Time. Now you see, all of these have. All of these have a really, really kind of creative gut to them, which is what we need, and that's what excites me about an initial pitch. Arrest My Case. I'm not kidding. I've been knocking around a script like that for about 5 years, which Dan is probably why I was smiling like an idiot at you whilst you were pitching. Songbirds of Jupiter sounded a lot like Quantum Leap with Keanu Reeves in it, and then I was thinking about, hey, Quantum Leap remake with Keanu Reeves. Anyway. I liked it. I didn't latch on to the actual narrative so much, but that was a good one as well. Stitch in Time. Again, now this is an interesting thing of why you need to keep your elevator pitches short, because producers are listening to about 5 or 6 elevator pitches a day. So this is about right for the amount of elevator pitches that you listen to in one sitting. And what's really interesting is that by the final 2, I was like, oh, keep listening, because you really need to latch onto the idea. So for people that are actually elevator pitching, you need to keep them short and concise and practice it like we're doing here. Stitch in Time, again, I had trouble latching onto the narrative, but I really like the idea of weaving with the fabric of time. So I think get Sam back on here at some point and let's pitch it properly.
No, he did it. He did a fantastic job at pitching it, and because it's the sum of its parts, this idea as well. It's not a big hooky idea. But it builds. Yeah. Once the pitch is finished, you go, oh, I bought in. Unfortunately, I haven't, and this is a good message to everyone out there, is that, I rambled. I could have possibly tightened it and got, like you said, get the first sort of 5 or 6 words out of the gate, be the crux of this idea.
Yeah. And for me, weaving with the fabric of time should be right up the top of that pitch, because it's a really nice visual hook. And they all had really good visual hooks. Arrest My Case, I love it. Songbirds of Jupiter, I love it, but Songbirds of Jupiter, I think, has to go first, I'm afraid. It's between Stitch in Time and Arrest My Case. Again. This is tough, guys.
Can I just make a point, Sean? This suspense that you're feeling is how we all feel when you're picking a winner, and you go, Yeah, I think. Okay, Dan. Let me just tell you about, and like you get this feeling of like he's going to pick.
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
You know, this is how it feels.
Because my stomach turned when you said Bob Disposal, but actually it was the first one you cut. So when you said Bob Disposal earlier on, I thought, oh my god, he's picked Bob Disposal.
I'm sorry.
It's not
I'm
mine,
sorry.
but actually you were cutting it out.
Sorry.
This is
Now
how it
you
feels.
know.
I know the
now
feeling.
You know
Yeah.
how I felt. It was horrible.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so between Arrest My Case and Stitch in Time, it has to be Arrest My Case because I want to watch that movie. I want to
Grace.
watch that movie.
Yeah, well done, Grace.
And it sounds like a cheap movie to make. Sounds like it'd be a funny movie to make. And your main protagonist could even just be a voice. Could just do a voiceover. For my gut, I would get the actor to learn how to do puppetry. And you know, to actually puppet the case and keep it all practical. Keep it practical because practical is cheap, it is fast, and it's funny. So for me, Arrest My Case. That is a solid winner there. What are you going to do now?
So now what we're going to do is we're going to walk into your room as the studio exec and we're going to pitch to you those two ideas.
Yeah, come in.
Oh, hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Ben. Yeah, how's it going?
Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Oh, hi. You guys know each other. How do you know each other?
We're all part of the creative team downstairs that you assembled recently. We've come into you with the two scripts that we've sort of finalised and we're ready to go. We want you to sort of select which one is going to go forward.
I'll tell you what. Let's keep this to a time limit. Let's keep them short because I've got a meeting in 15 minutes. So let's go with This Train Terminates. I'm loving the idea. I've got the guys working on the poster right now.
What I think. I'll go first, guys. Thanks for letting me go first. What I think I love about This Train Terminates is that it goes so much beyond the norm. Right, we're looking at the Cornwall sort of Cornwall seaside rather than
aesthetic.
Yeah, and it's visually, like stunning. You know, you can sort of use those old trains. You know, you don't like cars and stuff that get possessed. It's never like a fancy new train, is it? It's always like an old one. So you get to keep those and steam trains are really cool. Ben, as you said, the experiential marketing side of it, you know, the big red headlights, you know, you can actually like put stuff on the trains, everything that. I think from a marketing perspective, it's probably easier to market than the other script that we have.
You have big name actors pop in for just a cameo because they're on a train, so they just have to shoot, you know, a quarter of a day in a beautiful seaside town, and they get the rest of the day off. They can sort of come in, just do a stint on the train. You can. We were talking to Becky, who's already got a script in the works for This Train Terminates 2 rail replacement. So that's the first one set in the UK. That's
where a bus takes over.
Where the bus takes over, and then that's a spin-off series. You know.
Yeah, we're thinking basically like, what if Christine was a train and it was written done by the spaced people?
Yeah.
And how that would then feed in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
okay,
all those cool references, like nerdy references for those who are into that, but they go totally over people's heads, but they're absolutely relevant.
And like a real love of horror at the same time. It's like a sort of fun, cheesy horror vibe.
Homages to all the horror tropes. Yeah.
I can't think of any other killer train movies. Can you think of any other killer train movies?
Not off the top of my head, Ben. No,
that's why we came up with the idea.
I mean, the only one.
That's why Becky came up with it.
The only one I can think of, if I was all the way back to olden times, is when the moustache twirling crazy man would tie the person up, put them on the train tracks. But then the train wasn't the main protagonist.
I mean,
right?
that's the opening scene, of course, is someone watching that.
Since then, when have we seen a train kill someone?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I'm thinking of the marketing for Creep. If you go back, I think it's like early 2000s. If you've got that was all based on the London Underground, and that was a low budget movie. So I think it would be kind of nice, good to recoup on a low budget horror. So I'm keen on that. I think you've got the right shooting location. I think you've got we've got some work to do on the script. But I think the tone of the script is right. I'm excited to see the next draft of that. I'm very excited. Okay. Can I ask about Arrest My Case?
That's my case.
So
Well, look,
there's been some development, has there, on the puppetry for Arrest My Case? Tell me about that.
Oh, you said you wanted practical, so we've gone fully practical. We've spoken to Matthew Lillard because he's done a lot of CGI with the Scooby stuff, and he was really up for sort of working with CGI stuff, so he's cool with that. If we had the budget, but if not, Rob's already been working with various cases at home. And he's come up with some really great stuff. I've got some videos we can show you.
Yeah, he's got one briefcase that is actually opens and he slides his face into it. So actually, when we're shooting, we don't have to worry about CGI. We just sort of get him to lay on the ground. He's a very physical actor.
One of the primary issues we ran into is whether we tan his skin to be the same color as the briefcase, or do we alter the color of the briefcase itself?
Don't want to go there, Sean. Don't want to go there.
Yeah, but I think the reason
studio,
why
this studio can't touch it.
Not again. Not after last time.
Not after what happened last time.
The reason why I think we like this film is because the era of slapstick films is sort of not prevalent nowadays. We want to bring that back. The reason why people loved Zoolanders and loved whatever that film is where he becomes a woman, Gigolo, G.I. Gigolo, whatever it's called. I don't even know.
G.I. Gigolo is a different...
If actually, let's add that to the title.
That's going to be added to
Listen, who have you been speaking to in this business? Because that's something else we're developing.
But it's...
You come to me with those ideas.
But it has this element of we have a storyline where we are taking down the big bad. Robbie gets killed at the beginning, and it's not his revenge story, but it's like very much got we have the very nice arc there of him getting killed at the beginning, but then him being able to take down the mafia and be able to have a love story with, I think it was Blake Lively. No, it wasn't Blake Lively. It was Selma Blair and Selma Blair and Matthew Lillard. Being able to have elements of love, elements of silly, elements of big bads getting taken down.
Also, let's cut through this. It's cheap. Everyone's already on board. Like, they're all no names. Like, behind the scenes doing the script and all this sort of stuff. It's all fine. It's completely cheap. It'll go on Netflix. We'll make total dollar on it.
That is...
It's in the bag.
That is... okay. And we've only got enough budget to do one of these.
Unfortunately.
You are certain.
There might be a point later on. When one of them we might find some budget for one of them, but it would depend on sort of crowdsourcing, I think.
Okay. Yeah, if the crowd likes a certain idea, they can throw it back in the mix.
Oh, and wait a minute, you guys have got you've got a Patreon account, haven't you, for that kind of crowdsourcing stuff? So if you want to see both, then get involved with their Patreon.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that. An exec promoting somebody else.
Now listen, who'd have heard? Okay. Here's the thing. They are both absolutely, there's no problem in going into production on both of them. What this Train Terminates has going for it is the creativity of seeing a train and trying to negotiate your lead characters into a position where they cannot outrun a train. I mean, obviously, there's got to be some sort of script element where they have to get themselves down a tunnel or something like that, where they can't outrun this thing. I would like to hear some development on how that train dies. Quickly, please.
There was a guy that used to work at the train yard, the old train
Jim
scrap
Broadbent,
yard.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jim Broadbent, and only he knows why it was originally haunted, and they have to find Jim Broadbent and bring him back from his terror so that they can undo the curse that's laid on this train.
It was the I believe when we talked about it, the train was derailed and sort of fell like off a cliff or into the water on the Riviera on the Riviera.
Yeah,
and
so
basically
they blew up. Sean Bean blew up a bridge and it fell into the.
And then the post credit sequence was I think we had Simon Pegg, wasn't it? Simon Pegg and Nick Frost like being train inspectors. And they go, oh, look, they make anything out of trains. They make these new trains out of anything these days, even old recycled trains. Yeah. And then the last one you see is the headlights, beam red, and then that's the post-credit sequence.
Yeah. Okay. That's touched a soft spot in my heart. I won't lie. all of that is gold. So arrest my case. How does it conclude?
Well, interestingly, we had two ways for it to end. Either he finds it, Rosie Perez is, we see her driving off into the sunset on her own, enjoying life, and he's been dispelled from the briefcase, and then she opens her bag, and he's her purse. Or we then thought maybe that she drives off into the sunset with him as a briefcase, but then there's Arrest My Case 2, where they've had babies and they are suitcases.
Yeah, half Rosie Perez, half
suitcase.
Okay,
half suitcase.
And in that sentence right there, I have just made a decision.
For better and for worse.
Here it is. Simply because the end of the movie is more climactic and well thought through and natural. You know where I'm going with this, people.
Yeah, it's blatantly Arrest My Case.
It's blatantly This Train Terminates.
Yes.
Simply because I'm actually working on a script that's very close to that. So, but you know what? That's one of the bullshit lines they give you to tell you to get stuff. So I'm really sorry, Dan, but we're actually already developing a script that's very similar to that. So we're going to have to pass on this one.
It's okay. Rob said he'll fund it on his own. We'll be fine with it.
And you know what? He will. But This Train Terminates has got creativity, scope, sequel ability. Is that even a word?
It is now.
It's got a poster. It's quirky enough to attract some good talent to it. There's a lot of practical special effects that you can do on it. I would like to see the train, a lot of it done practically. Obviously, for the other stuff, you'd have to get a bit CG heavy, but you keep that to the third act. I like a lot of practical stuff. A lot of it can be shot on a train, which let's face it, you can mock up a pretty good train for about $100,000. So let's rock with This Train Terminates.
So commiserations to Grace Hardy and Arrest My Case, and to all of the other winners of the previous episodes that just didn't make the cut today. Thank you for your time and for your ideas. We wouldn't be here without them. We love them all equally, but we're also very proud. And thank you, Becky Pantling. We're all very proud to see This Train Terminates go into the finals at the end of this season. I just want to thank you, Ben, for being here. Thank you very much, and for giving your expertise and maybe giving people at home a little bit more of an idea of why ideas might succeed and why they might not, and what makes a good pitch.
That's cool. Thanks, Ben. That's cool. It's a hard lesson to learn, but every movie needs to be sold 5 times before it even gets to production. So and it starts with the elevator pitch, and from there on you've got to sell it up, upsell it. And what you just heard today was just the smallest little snippet of the beginnings of a movie. And do you know what? I would really like to chat about Arrest My Case, because that's genuinely. Let's talk about that on the side. But I think the best script won it today. I'm super excited. Yeah. I'm super excited about This Train Terminates.
Also, Ben, before we go, you've got a new game that's probably just come out by the time we release this. Do you want to tell us about it?
Well, my background is in film and TV, and like I said about people getting plucked out of film and TV to go into computer games, I've been working with this awesome game making software called BuildBox, and it's simply the most creative experience that I've ever experienced. You can do all of the sound and all of the games and all of the story and you can deliver it straight up on the App Store all yourself. So I'm really, really excited about Night Fighter 2. Night Fighter 1 is already available on the App Store. Go and download it now.
So what's Night Fighter 2 about? I haven't had a chance to play it yet. What's it about?
It's basically it's the second episode of Night Fighter. I myself am playing Night Fighter. He doesn't have a lead name at the moment. It's just called Night Fighter, and this one's like a run and gun shooting one. But I will say that it's quirky as hell, and I'm drawn to quirky scripts, and I think it's when you're sucking ghosts into your plutonium-powered testicles through a bass guitar from the future. I think that's when you realise where I'm coming from. So
yeah, that is a log line, by the way.
That is a log line.
That is a log line
right there. And if that doesn't get you to download the game, I don't know what will.
Well, listen, thanks a lot, Ben. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate you coming on board as our first adjudicator. Dan and Ryan, thank you for your time again and your pitches.
No problem, Sean. Thank you too.
It was always a pleasure.
Remember, everyone, give us some feedback on these episodes. If you think that one of the ideas was robbed, or you thought maybe it should have been Rest My Case, join the discussion on Twitter, go on Reddit, join on our Facebook group. Let's hear what you guys have to say.
Yeah, find Ben Scriven on Twitter and send all of your hate mail directly to him.
Find that Ben Scriven has just cancelled his Twitter account, and
our Instagram and Twitter are @/Dupe, in case you don't know what they are. And yes, please do interact with us. We'll be up and running.
Join with the hashtag Pitch Please.
No.
Yeah.
Don't make me choose. No.
Yeah. And you have to break the day. You can ask us questions. We're going to pitch collectively, hopefully, and sort of fill in for each other. Yeah.
That's what we're going to do now. I'm so glad you didn't tell me that, because genuinely, people, I've just learned that I'm going to have to choose between these two. And if I'd have known that, then I would have chosen a Duff for the second one because of how much I like this Train Terminates.
Recorded in the Capo Studios 2020. What's up, Danger?